What made you realize people are freaking stupid? Well, I work at a bank and hear stupid shit all the time. One that comes to mind. A guy was offered a credit card with the promise that the first annual fee was for free. He somehow misunderstood the offer and thought that the bank was going to pay for everything he used the card to buy for the first year, instead of not charging him the annual fee for having the card. Naturally, he maxed out the card and was in for a big surprise when he contacted the bank because it was suddenly being declined everywhere. I found this out while being a supervisor, and it wasn't the employees under me that made me realize it was the other supervisors. It was food service and they took it way too seriously. Some otherwise respectable people went on power trips and said awful and unreasonable things to their subordinates, simply because now they could. The customers were all extremely reasonable and understanding. Fellow supervisors would call me stupid for following company policy, such as comping certain things when it was right in the training, and stated by the venue owner, that we should do so. They acted like it was coming out of their paycheck, and one manager would try and gaslight me and also accuse the servers of stealing food when in reality the kitchen was backed up and that food hadn't even been made yet. I could go on and on about this job, but the main point still stands: some people were just meant to do menial jobs for a living. If they're not willing to improve themselves to get out of that, or even be able to see that they should do so, then it's on them. When I was in high school, before smartphones, we got on the topic of fish and I said something about tuna. Then a girl said tuna isn't a real fish. And everyone was like, WTF are you talking about? Yes it is. Then she said, then why is there a marlin on the front of tuna cans? And we were all like, that's a tuna. She said tuna is the stomachs of a bunch of fish combined. Then we called the meat department of the grocery store and had the butcher, who was extremely confused, explain that tuna was in fact a fish. All in all, she still didn't believe us. I work in a shipping company, not gonna say what because I need my job and such. It's manual labor that pays well and hiring criteria amount to having a heartbeat and some brain function. My supervisors are some of the most genuinely stupid people I've ever encountered. I've been in a more or less constant fight with one trying to convince them that any practice that requires moving a package against the flow of a conveyor belt is not efficient. It took 3 weeks of this for them to stop doing things that required them to personally put packages on the belt and later carry them back up the belt because that's where they were supposed to be. Another time I had a manager bury himself, me, and another employee in the back of a semi-trailer. Imagine 30+ feet of packages waist high across the entire width of the trailer, because the voice on the radio told him to go faster. And then insist that this was the best, and only, method of dealing with the problem. It's the kind of stupidity that makes one understand how the flat earth movement has a foothold. My sister runs a very loud dog grooming business out of my parents' house that involves almost constant barking and screaming. Her clients must assume that she's the only one who lives here because they will just walk in without being welcomed inside. I have gone to the kitchen to make coffee or something and just seen random strangers standing there. When they're outside, because we lock the front door at all hours of the day now, ringing the doorbell, I ignore it. I'm not getting paid to help her business and be in customer service mode 24/7 for free, yet these people will look through the window and if they see me they'll just start banging on the door. How does someone see a driveway with a truck and 2 other cars and cars parked out front and assume only one person lives there? I'm not sure whether it's being freaking stupid or just being a douche sometimes, honestly. I work in IT. Most people come to me for solutions to their problems, but some, a small minority, are in love with having problems. They don't want solutions, they want a reason to complain. They'll come to you for help, then stonewall any attempt you make to provide it. If you fix the issue in spite of them, they'll zero in on another problem and make that the focus of their week. The only explanation I can come up with is that they've given up on success and just want an excuse to fail. Having insurmountable problems is a relief to those people, because there is no longer a reason to try. And over time they become more and more stressed and bitter, entirely through their own choices, when all it would take to make the situation better is to stop getting in their own way. Any job in food will really make you wonder how some people got so far in life. At my first job, mall food court, all of our orders would have an order number on the receipt. Think any fast food. For every order I would tell them their number and show them with my fucking fingers where the number is on the receipt. Without fail, 99% of the customers would just be standing there while we call out their numbers over and over with them looking at us baffled. Eventually they would come up and crowd the counter rambling about how there's no number on the receipt and whatnot. God, I hate people.